I'm Paul, and this is my lovely wife, Rachel, and my daughters. I have 4 daughters, Sophie, Lucy, Nora, and Eva. Our main goal was to connect with the community there at El Arco Church. I volunteered to preach the sermon, give Tommy a break. We were also there to support what they're doing at their local school, private school there, ministering to those teachers, administrators, and students by specifically teaching them English, helping the students practice English with native speakers. So we did English camp, we did conversations in English, we did drama sketches. We played sports with them and games. So they had a great time.
We love Tommy and Sarah and their 4 kiddos, Micah, Silas, Isley, and Kyson. They are so welcoming. They welcomed us immediately into their home. Their house becomes our house. Their hearts are so genuine. They just want to love the people in Querétaro. And they're doing a phenomenal job. It's a hard job. And having us there, people that anything they needed, this is what we're kind of thinking. And then there were a bunch of us ready to jump and execute it. Wasn't something they normally have. They have a very small group of people that serve with them regularly. And so to have a group there was just refreshing for them to have a little break in things. And so that was really special for us to get to provide a little bit of a reprieve for them as well.
There was a willingness to serve and to be flexible. We told ourselves as a family, this is not about us. This is about serving Tommy and Sarah and everything they're doing. So whatever we're called to do, we will be ready to help out wherever needed. And the culture is different in Mexico. You need to be flexible. Things could change on a dime. We could have a hard set start time, but people will show up a little later than we're used to here in the West. So everyone was willing to do whatever was needed. We were in one mind and one spirit. So that was what I saw God working there, for sure.
We saw God at work in the details. An unexpected hospital trip for one of our team members led to the doctor's daughter coming to Vacation Bible School. That connection wouldn't have been made were it not for the hospital trip. And they were able to come, and it started a relationship that Tommy and Sarah can continue to foster. We saw seeds planted at the English camp at the school that then we were able to continue in the VBS and open doors through those children.
The trip had an impact on me in that I went not having any experience preaching a sermon, and humbling because that takes a lot more effort than you would think. There's a lot of research, studying, and prayer, and the things that I could share in the sermon, hopefully it'll make an impact, but the most important thing I did was share God's word, and his word never returns void. That's the most important thing I could do. And I was very grateful that they allowed me to do that.
We realized how much our view of normal is really small and narrow here, and so we wanted to expand that for our kids. But then more than that, we realized once we got there, the setting has changed, but God has remained the same. And so it was cool to get that different perspective, that people live in a different culture and they have different norms in their everyday, but the same God that we serve here is the same God that they are serving and praising in Mexico. And so just to expose our kids to that at an early age, but also as a family to experience that, was one of our big goals and takeaways from the whole thing.
Going on a mission trip seemed like an adult thing, but it's not really. If you think you're supposed to go, you should do it instead of waiting, because you might not get the chance again.
It sounds stressful and like a big thing, but it's way easier than it sounds.
At first I was a little skeptical, but then once I got more details, I thought it would be fun.
Were you excited to go to Mexico? Yeah.
Ways we can be praying for the Rose family would be for their continued encouragement, dedicated church members, families that they are touching. Their goal is not a mega church. Their goal is for people to know the Lord and for them to have the reach and the influence for people to genuinely know the Lord and then want to share that and continue sharing that and be equipped to do that. Prayers for their continued financial provision for them, as they focus on the work they're doing there, that they can just focus on that and not have to worry about the financial provision. Tangible things just for their needs would be more reliable transportation, just their physical needs being met, and for them to continue being supported as they forge the relationships with the school and the community, that those doors continue to be opened, which was the goal of our trip, to continue forging those relationships with the school and for that to continue for them.
We'd also like to thank Antioch for those people who gave to our family to help us specifically to get to Querétaro. In general, everyone who gives to the mission fund at Antioch helps families like us get a chance to go serve in Mexico or Rwanda, wherever you donate to missions. It allows us to love on other people, that other communities far outside of our country. So we couldn't have gone there without the support and prayers of Antiochers. So we really appreciate that.
And when you give to Antioch, it allows the church to be able to support missionaries. So that giving goes directly to the Rose family to support their efforts there outside of trips that we get to take. And there are ways that individuals can also give to them directly, if that's something God is leading you to as well, just to support what God is doing around the world. Because it's not about Tommy and Sarah, it's about what God is doing here at Antioch, at El Arco in Mexico, and anywhere else where God has people on the ground working and sharing the story of Jesus.
Thanks, Antioch, for being a mission-minded church.
Are y'all glad you went?
Yes.
Or did you want to go back?
Yes.
Yeah.